We have a big main event rematch going down this weekend on the UFC 286 main event card in London. I don't. Why was I going to say London, Australia? London, England. The UK. We have Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman 3 for the welterweight championship of the world, UFC championship of the world. And I'm going to be doing an in-depth breakdown of this matchup. But first off, before we get right into it, let me know down below in the comments below who you think will win this matchup. I'm basically going to read out how these guys match up physically. I'm going to go through their last fight and their most recent fights, and then break down what the differences will be between their previous fight and this fight. I'm going to go over what I think happens in this matchup. So let's get right into the tail of the tape. We have Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman. Leon Edwards 20-3, and Kamaru Usman being 20-2. Leon Edwards is 31 years old and Kamaru Usman is 35. Kamaru Usman will be 4 years older. They're both at the 170-pound weight limit at welterweight. UFC.com lists them both at 6 foot. I don't believe that's true. I think Leon Edwards is probably 6'2". He's definitely quite taller than Usman, and maybe Usman's height is a little bit different there, but it's not too much of a factor other than the fact that it's pretty clear that Leon Edwards is the taller man here. And Leon Edwards does have a 74-inch reach, and Kamaru Usman has a 76-inch reach, and Usman will have a 2-inch reach advantage in this matchup. For previous matchups, we have, of course, they came off their second fight most recently where Leon Edwards head kicked Usman out cold in the final round of their matchup. Before that, Leon Edwards had a fight against Nate Diaz where he pretty much destroyed him until like a moment in the 5th round. Did pretty good in that matchup. For Kamaru Usman, last fight again, got knocked out by Leon Edwards. Beat Colby Covington for the second time. Knocked out Jorge Masvidal, which was extremely impressive. And then beat Gilbert Burns by TKO. Some of the top fighters, at least Colby Covington and Gilbert Burns. Can't really say the same about Leon, or not Leon. You can't really say the same about Jorge Masvidal at this point in his career. But some of the best fighters in the world he has beaten. And that's why his resume is so stacked at this point and why this is such a big matchup for both of these guys. For their last fight, I'm basically going to run over what happened in the last matchup. There's not really too much to say because I can kind of skip a couple rounds because they're kind of the same for a little bit towards the middle of this fight. But round 1, Leon Edwards, I believe, won that round clearly. He actually was able to take down Usman and able to climb onto his back and attempt a rear naked choke for about a minute. So I think he gets the round there, gets the takedown. Only real difference in that round was the takedown and the back take with the effective grappling, threatening a rear naked choke. So I gave Leon that round 1. Round 2 is a little bit closer than, I guess, the next couple rounds. But I did edge it to Usman, and then I edged 3rd and 4th round to Usman also. That was a pretty dominant round winning, I guess you can put it that way. And then same thing with the 5th round. 5th round, I guess, was a little bit closer. But again, it was a little like closer as in the 3rd and 4th round. But still a pretty dominant round for Usman. They ended up back on the feet with a minute left, and then Leon Edwards sets Kamaru Usman up with a very beautiful left high kick and puts him out cold. It was a very nice setup for Usman. I don't even think Edwards threw that many head kicks that matchup. I didn't really count, but I think it was about, that was the only head kick I remember. I think he might have thrown like 1 or 2 other ones early on in the fight, but he didn't start mixing it up till later on in the fight. I think some of the biggest issues with that fight for Leon Edwards that I think will kind of not transfer over, and I think interchangeably also, but the factors that I noticed, Leon Edwards in this fight, or I'm sorry, in the last fight, there was an altitude problem where they were in Salt Lake City, and Usman normally trains at altitude, so it was kind of like an unfair advantage. It's not like it's just that fight either. The whole card was having issues. Like that Luke Rockhold versus Paulo Costa matchup was a mess because they kind of gassed out within like a couple minutes of that fight. Even guys like Romanov, who normally have decent cardio, he didn't look that good in the last fight. I'm just going to be real. But Romanov, who normally has decent cardio, gassed out completely after the first round. Was doing a lot of slams, but gassed out pretty fast. So the whole card was having a lot of issues with altitude. Being a higher elevation. Usman didn't really have it because he does train at higher elevation. So Leon Edwards, along with like his confidence going for Kamaru Usman holding him against the fence, kind of derailed Leon Edwards in that matchup too. So his confidence was pretty much gone for at least the majority of the fight, probably from maybe the end of round 2, but primarily in 3 and 4, his confidence was gone and his teammates had to hype him up a little bit. Also, for this matchup, Leon Edwards will have a crowd advantage, and he will be coming in with a lot more confidence in that last fight. I don't think we'll see him be as checked out in this fight, knowing that he KO'd Usman in that last fight by actually like not being checked out, like actively. The corner had to put him back in, like wake him up, like, bro, you still got a chance. Now he believes in himself. Now he has the confidence for this fight. I don't think he'll check out. It'll be normal at like normal sea levels, so there won't be issues with cardio levels necessarily. So he has a lot of things riding for him. Again, the crowd advantage also. In those dominant positions, you can kind of get someone to rally like Leon Edwards to get out of those positions. The crowd will definitely be pretty helpful in this matchup. So those are a few things that will be different from the last matchup to this matchup. So it will be very interesting to see how these guys interact with each other. Again, Usman got KO'd also. Only time he's ever been KO'd in his life, and it was out cold. It was pretty brutal. It wasn't like a TKO. He went out cold. So he's probably at what is he? Almost 36 years old. Probably having a couple thoughts in his brain, like, should I let my hands go? Because honestly, I think Leon Edwards is a better stand-up fighter for sure. I think Usman has the power, but I think Leon Edwards is definitely a little bit more technically sound, can set Usman up pretty decently. Like, it literally took Leon Edwards to set him up once to end the fight. So Usman might come in with a couple questions. Again, I think he had a little bit of a hand injury for this fight too. He had a little brace on it with a couple of pictures that we've seen before it. And yeah, so it's been 6 months, so I'm not really worried about a Usman not being healthy or his brain being completely healthy. It's been 6 or 7 months. That's not too big of a worry. I'm pretty sure he's recovered. He hasn't taken too much damage in his career, so it shouldn't be an issue there. So for this matchup, how I see it going, I'm going to go Leon Edwards for this matchup. I think it's going to go to a decision. It will be very interesting if someone does get a finish here. Maybe we see both of these guys could definitely finish one another. I think Usman, the problem with Usman not getting finished for this fight is that I think he's going to be a little bit more safe. I don't think he's going to be as risky in this matchup like he normally is, like in that Masvidal 2. Masvidal is a good stand-up fighter. Of course, he KO'd him, but it was a little bit competitive on the feet for a little bit. He was taking a lot of risks. He believed in that power. He didn't want to hold him against the fence. I think in this fight, he's going to be very safe. He's going to be looking for some of the takedowns, putting him against the fence, and just holding him there for the rest of the fight. He's not going to take any chances. The reason why he lost is because he took a chance. Like, it's kind of funny also because in that last round, he literally took a chance just for 1 minute and then got KO'd. It's absolutely insane. So I think he's going to be super safe. So that's why I'm saying I don't think Usman's going to get knocked out. I think he's going to be super defensively sound. I think he's going to be too defensive in this matchup. I think he's going to go for takedowns. I think Leon Edwards, if he does get in those bad positions, he does have the cardio to hold himself up. A lot of the positions that, like in the second round and the first round, Leon Edwards was able to get up. Even the takedown that he got in the first round, he was able to get up and trip Usman. I think that cardio issue won't be there, and he's going to be able to defend some of these takedowns better. He's not going to be as demoralized in the fight. I think he's going to defend the takedowns actually pretty well in this fight. If Usman's holding him in a corner, I can see him getting out in like a minute tops. You know, I think the crowd, the cardio, and everything involved there, I think the takedowns are not going to be an issue for Leon Edwards here. I think stand-up wise, the power is going to be a problem for Leon Edwards, just not getting caught, not being too open. Like if he starts going like styling on him, the issue with the Nate Diaz fight was that Leon Edwards was doing so good. He was like trying new things like in his zone, and then he got caught by Nate Diaz. You cannot get caught by Usman. You're going to be put out. That he has that kind of power. He has Titanic power. He will put you out if you get caught. So those are the main risks here. But I do think Leon Edwards is just going to mix it up. Leg kicks, body kicks, more body shots. He's going to set up some of those high kicks, use some of his jabs. Weirdly enough, Usman does have a reach advantage in this matchup, but I think Leon Edwards is just a little bit more technically sound. I think maybe he'll go for a little bit of setups, but I can just see it. Leon Edwards just schooling him for 5 rounds. Maybe there's some finishing potential for Usman here, but he doesn't really finish guys on the ground. I think his only finishing point is on the feet, and I think it's very dangerous for Usman on the feet. Maybe he gets a little foul, cheats a little bit like he normally does, but I'm going Leon Edwards. Round 1, I reckon it's going to be a little bit close. I think they're both going to be a little bit safe. Usman's going to be super safe, probably throw out a couple of jabs, but I think Leon Edwards wins that round. Second round, I think Usman tries to be a little bit more aggressive, push him against the fence, kind of hold him there a little bit. Leon gets out of the way, but it's going to be a super close round. But then after that, third round, I think Leon starts to get the hang of some of the takedowns that Usman's going to be looking for, kind of what he's trying to do. I think Leon Edwards is going to be able to predict it, move out of the way, set Kamaru Usman up, punch him, jab him, 1-2s, move around, body kicks, leg kicks, high kicks, and then just keep moving around, keeping that good distance. And I think Kamaru Usman's going to struggle a little bit in that situation. I can just see Leon Edwards just outstriking Usman. It'll be very fun if we get a KO here, but I think Usman's just going to be super safe in this matchup. I don't think he wants to get KO'd. I don't think people want to get KO'd in general, but it's the first time he's ever been KO'd. I don't think he wants to leave too many openings, because the opening KO'd him in that last fight. He's going to be super safe. So I'm going to go Leon Edwards 49-46 decision. I'm sure some kind of like a Sal Diamato will give a 49-46 scorecard to Usman, but I do think we'll have 2 at least normal judges in this fight, and we'll actually give Leon Edwards a decision. So I'm going to go 49-46 Edwards, maybe a 48-47, and watch it be like some kind of KO or whatever. I said the same thing with the John Jones-Cyril Gane fight. I even hinted at John Jones maybe getting a submission. I was like, no, that's crazy. I think I might have even cut it out of the video. But it ended up being a very early finish. So this one could end pretty early too. Both of these guys can knock each other out. Leon Edwards definitely has a little bit more grappling versatility in his game. I think he has a chance to choke out Kamaru Usman, but I don't see it likely happening. So I think this one stays on the feet. I think Leon Edwards eventually gets a hang of what Kamaru Usman's trying to do towards the beginning of the fight, and I think he just outstrikes him for those 5 rounds, keeps it really safe, doesn't take too many chances, Kamaru Usman, obviously, and Leon Edwards sets him up for a couple things. So I'm going to go Leon Edwards. Maybe he does hurt him a couple times too. I think over time, I think he'll eventually just hurt him up. I think he'll eventually hurt him, which is why I gave him the decision. But I just see him outstriking him, styling him out, completely outstriking him. So that's what I have for this video. Let me know down below in the comments below who you think will win this matchup. You can join the Tapology link down below. You can also follow all my socials in the Tapology. You can make your picks. It'll keep your pick and record for this year so far, and all of the previous years and all the other years you want to be a part of it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys